Hello, Bruno, folks! Welcome and welcome back to this Gnomes. Bem-vindo, pessoal, aqui é Gnomes. So, testing the microphone first. It has been, yes, just a bit too loud, right? Let's get some fixes here. Alright, something like that, and maybe like this, and alright, so perhaps there would be some surviving from the soundtrack. Not sure, we'll see. Where's that? The should have got this before. Alright, so today we're going to address some more of the rendering. I was experiencing some crashes, but I think it was the EV compositing, something maybe too heavy for the current state of the computer. This is the first scene with workbench, the other is the render engine, the other is the EV one, and I've just reduced it's a linked copy, so the only thing that changes is basically the because if I do something here, it will on the other it will do the same. Well, not okay, so there is some. Alright, so I'm not exactly sure how this works, but looks like I have some grease pencil here. Oh, the structure of the outliner is different. Alright, so maybe I'll have to re-update that. Can I copy a view layer from so I never dealt with this, so I've just made some changes here and I've just realized that now this is different, the EV. So okay, let's do a linked copy. Then for this one I'm just gonna so you see this is the new one. This I need to check some data here, so I turn this off. Samples to 12. That actually this one. So instead of workbench EV, let's get viewport. This is fine, but then here 12, maybe just a bit more. 14 shadows probably I think should be useful. Then those things continue as it is. I haven't changed anything there, so it's just the EV thing. And so these data, actually there's some more stuff here, so I need to bring now this this information here. So first let's go in the compositor for the first. So just gonna change here to this one, then I go here, I'm gonna I'm gonna delete this one, gonna change this name to 2 ev for EV. Then something gone crazy here. This is the workbench and this is the EV. Alright, so I have now see they look quite different. So this idea here, this setup, is the following. The workbench is to highly value the, this is composited already, so the gonna save here. So the workbench is for getting the image texture valued, and the render layers for EV is to get all sorts of especially the lighting from the scene, right, which workbench doesn't catch. It catch global lights which we can actually adjust, but they are sort of limited, like they are global, right, like a lot of suns here and there, 4 suns, and I've made the addition, there's some glitch there. Anyways, we're gonna check what's going there about this shadow, something about EV actually, but maybe it's just this render that is broken. Then also it can use ambient occlusion, it can use shader nodes, and it can use transparency, all sorts of those crazy shaders, right? Not that workbench, I think, might have some transparency, but it's different, it is limited. So here let's go, and because I think those are not the crashing elements, so I was experiencing some crash, so I was about to try to turn off whichever things were suspect in the compositing. So I'm gonna save here, and let's make one render here, and hope it doesn't crash here. Well, it didn't crash, so you see this was quite fast actually. And where is the chat? The chat is here, and let's make some other render. Maybe it's fast because, so the cool thing now is that, for instance, if I go here on compositing, we can move this with hold alt and the rest with hold shift, right? So it's different here. Then we can play with this value, which is super cool. So more here is not alpha overing, so this is full EV with some stuff here, but we can turn this into some craziness. So we can even try to combine this with some workbench. Not a great idea usually, but depends. Yeah, it can work. So anyways, this one, this is some sort of CGA, so this is some crazy posterizing thing that it's not, it's just playing around, so this is not super important here. And what I have achieved though, so let's go here and swap for the normal EV. And so if I get here, I don't have special lights, and I can prove that with a certain light object that I have, but I'm not using it now, it doesn't matter. So here we want a lot more of workbench, so you get more image texture valued and much less. So there's some, depends on what we want, so there, anything in between usually is quite nice, but there are some things we need to be careful. And here we can also swap to, but this is very subtle. There's also another thing that I've done. So now I've got the first one, so we have a hue saturation, color balance, and here maybe these values we change a little, or to no avail. It's just very little details, and then we have to making more of them, because if we found something that works well in some certain circumstance, we want to be keeping this stuff for a particular lighting or even combination of render layers. So this is very, it's hard to find the, like, it's versatile, but you know, it's kind of a bit time consuming to get great results. And so it's a lot of layering here, of different versions, right, on the same compositor, right? I think there is not multiple compositors in the, yeah, I think it's just one compositor. So what we can do, so what I've made a change and I'm gonna show here. Let's get some soundtrack first. What I was able to do, and this is quite interesting, and I'm gonna make a highlight, hope it doesn't crash here. So I was looking at some tutorials which explained not a lot, but eventually I found a tutorial I'd like to share, but it's something about this viewport shading. So basically there is something about the viewport shade that we can edit the, so here I'm on flat, but actually sorry, this is not the rendering. So here is on flat indeed, but I have studio and map cap for the lighting, and turns out that studio light, you see the titles here, 2D style 02, 2D style 01. So this I've made myself. So I tried to make a studio. I didn't try with matte cap. I don't really know the difference. Well, there are some. So here you see these options only appear for the matte cap and the studio, and the matte cap has even some flip matte cap. So I assume the matte cap is slightly more complex than the studio. I need to lighting method for solid viewport shading studio, displacing studio lighting, and this is displacing matte cap material and lighting. Okay, so apparently the matte cap might be a bit more sophisticated, so it might have additional features. So what happens is that here it doesn't matter which is, because this is a bit tricky, because actually there is in the render, and this is my workbench. Oh no, this is not my, this I was gonna brick my system. Okay, so here on workbench, so you see that here I am still on flat, but what I want is to use for visualization here only, right? So this is the one that I've made. It doesn't look super nice here in the without the in the current state of the, yeah, because this is just workbench, it's not composited yet, and this is fake because this is not composited yet entirely. It is composited with the in only this scene, but not compositing multiple scenes. So the alpha over is not working for right here, right now. We have a meta compositing would need here to see, and that would be very heavy, I think, or maybe not, I don't know. So next step is to get here and access the sampling, now the lighting, and so here you see I decide which to use. So I want to use what I've made. So which one of them I'm not sure. So these are the studio lighting methods. So how to get this? Well, basically we can click here, open preference. So I have to learn this from scratch. I never touched anything like that. So you see there's the matte caps are here, and here is the studio light. So let's say for instance I don't know yet where they are saved, but then we get something like let's pick this one for instance and edit. I don't know what is this, but it's probably not. Oh, copy. Okay, let's copy here. So now I get this one. This one that I had before probably was the default one. There are some. So here I can start editing on top of this one. So we can, for example, rotate these lightings, which can have some the top view, maybe the front or the back. So this is, it's like sunlight, I think. And so I'm gonna try something slightly different. Then there are a lot of things we can even disable, but we need at least one of these US, I think. Us, no, this is use light. So here we got, for example, we this light here, and the cool thing is to be able to see in real time. I'm not sure. I think we need to, it is possible, yes, but I need to perhaps save as studio light, but it will indicate, so it not override. So let's test. And so I got test. This install, I don't know what it is, so let's try here and get the test. Yes, this one. So now I'm rendering with this, but I could also try with this, right? So here we can play on the non-composited version. So edit the test, right? Editor. So yeah, get this one to edit, which is different. Yeah, so this one. So here we can, so see if I turn off, well, this seems to edit studio light. Okay, sure. So now you see we can have this real time. This even another is an world light, so this is a, maybe this is a bit more radical. Yeah, it's it can work like a hue. So this is a bit, it's interesting, but probably for now my first experiment, let's leave it near. Then I can smooth the lighting, right? Each one of the four, so you can smooth or bring them to the, what's up, welcome, Jojo, welcome, what up? I guess it's just me, how goes it? Yes, maybe, so welcome to the, bro, the sound is ultra quiet. I have an external amplifier where I could blow my ears out of, please, and I can barely hear you at max I see, I see. Thanks for notifying. So augment the microphone, reduce the audio for the, I hope this is better now. I thought my voice was a bit too loud though. Let me know please if it improved now, if it's. So here we continue. So there's the specular light, which is dangerous because, yes, specularity in this case, it can completely destroy something. We still, the specularity here, I don't really know exactly, but it creates this effect sometimes, which is sometimes very boring and difficult to take off. So here we can, for example, I have a greenish light, teal light here, for whatever reason, from the top, but maybe we want some bluish, and here we have some warm from this area, so maybe from the front we can bring it to the orange, brighter, and let's see, exaggerate this specular. Yeah, you see the specular what it does. So this is why it's this plaster effect, so I need to be very careful about that. And the smooth, yeah, the smooth we can sometimes use to, and so we can play with this, combining some effects here. And so my I think there, so if we want a sharper shadowing, yeah, this is can be complicated. Anyways, then the shadows, we can get this strategy of having some, is this enabled? Doesn't seem to. This slide doesn't seem to be doing anything. Oh, it is. It is because of the camera angle. So yeah, it's we can take forever here, but it's an interesting way of doing some sort of. It's look like compositing on the right, similar to compositing, but with this stuff here, and also in a crude way, right? And so here would be maybe from the top and the back, whatever. So yeah, we got here. I'm just doing something, whatever idea, just to show what we can do. So we can have a green as opposite. I don't know if that will make any sense. Specular on the different chroma. So here, and then here we can totally change this, and we can get really nice effects on the texture, right, just with this. And see, the specularity here is terrible, so maybe and this is why sometimes it's just one that is breaking the creating the specularity on some area, and this, or is one of these colors that we need to try to disrupt, right, take off this, make it more neutral or ineffective. And you see, and sometimes now it might be the ambient color or how it blends to, yeah. So you see, if I get this very dark, we don't have the specularity, but this is complicated, folks. This specularity, you see, it appears just on here for some reason, not so much on the other materials, maybe because these have image texture and or the color, I don't really know. So then after we're satisfied with one of these, so we can save here and save over, yes, already. And so here we don't need this anymore, so I'm gonna test this on the, now we pick this, yeah, I already got it selected, right? So we can compare the things that we did. Here I'm going directly on the shading, right, on the rendering aspect. So these are the older ones and this is the new one. So this is not too much different, but yeah, we can play with that. And then of course, yeah, so my solution here for the rigging then is a multi render layers compositing on the compositor, right? So I have a one EV for the lighting, that workbench object lighting that workbench doesn't get, and for some shading effects like the shading, even combination of color nodes, workbench doesn't get. So we need to some EV to do that, or in workbench we can try to mix everything to a single color node. I don't know, but yeah, techniques, right? But essentially I'm using for object lighting, dynamic lighting, and for the certain shaders, like you could name transparency, translucent, some roughness, all this kind of stuff that shaders can do, but very subtle effects, right? Not and even combining multiple color maps into. So here we go back in the what I did. Okay, so here I just press some overlaying, I guess. So here I'm gonna save because it can crash. Let's render this, and here I get yeah. So I'm gonna show you how we can get the. So here are my EV. You see, it's not really important. This is more important for me. And then I have some typical hue, saturation, value, color balance, gamma exposure. Sometimes I touch, sometimes I not. Then we can swap between different versions. Then we have the EV. Oh, I have a ambient occlusion. Totally forgot. This is only for the EV. Yeah, another thing that we can do in the compositor. There are tutorial for that. Then we can mix the ambient occlusion here. And here is the alpha over, where we can switch something, posterize this one on the bottom, so this is more radical, uh, for more stylized old school graphics. And this is here, this is pure EV, which is more shading and less texture, and here is really all texture. So we want something, usually I would like something about here, but sometimes it's cool to have some more slightly more realistic effect, something that looks painterlish, could be somewhere in between, certainly. So anything in between usually will be very good. And then there's a Kuwahara, which can blend some details and make it a little more. So you see, you can have sharp, we can have some sharp combination of sharps and smoother shadows, shading here and there. And this, when if you try to do this in EV, it's a nightmare for this kind of, like, I wasn't able to succeed with that. I think it's not good. So I'm still having some artifacts here. This was not, this is maybe some issue, small issue. It hasn't happened before, so I don't know what this is. Maybe just some, looks like some shading object, shadowing object that has this shape, but I don't have an object in this shape. I think this might be a glitch. Anyways, folks, so this is the highlight, how we can use Workbench to a very sophisticated extent, like stylized renderings. So I ended up mixing up two topics, but I needed to show that too because it's super interesting, and it relates to why I was dealing with those, how do you say, this, hold on, yeah, you name it, those studio. And I haven't tried the matte caps yet, so they might be even more interesting, right? So create from here, open preference, right? So who would think that? So we can make our own flat, our own, maybe I don't know if I can reproduce the flat exactly, but it's okay because we can get close to it enough to be interesting. And so that is very, very nice. So that's it, folks, what I can share this time. Alright, so let's get back here, and we need this one. So here I can get this and delete. We're gonna bring this one or this one. They are a bit of overdosing, right? This is my original, but yeah, this is the second I've made, so it's blowing up the color, so I need to do something about it. So if I pick here, okay, so I've done something about the shading because of the crashes I was having. So I'm going to try to address this on, try to recover some shading that I've changed, so maybe we'll get better results. Let's see. Shading, so basically select all, period, no, okay, there we go. So here, no, I'm back with the principal BSDF. So we can also use emission, we can also use diffuse shaders. The effects are, because it is limited, right, the EV, we are limiting the EV, then this the shader that we decide here is probably not yeah, of course we can do more stuff, and there are many things that I haven't tried, but Diffuse, yes, I have tried diffuse with the the color map there for the skin. This is only for the skin. So let's try with the diffuse just to compare. So I'm gonna actually, let's make here a comparison. Okay, so I'm gonna save this as the slot 1. We're gonna slot 2 now and gonna go now to the shading. Let's try the diffuse BSDF, which I think it's closer to the principal BSDF. So this is slot 2. So you see it's very subtle. Of course it's very subtle because we need more alpha blend here, so we're gonna get somewhere like here. Yeah, so we'll have to do this again. So let's start with the shading. Start with the emission this time. So here's a shader to RGB, then it multiplies with, oh, this is all set up, folks. I don't need this this. Okay, indeed. So my mistake. So this was my previous attempt of maybe I don't even need this one, right? Let's try this. So this is pure shading, right? Because now the workbench is not pure shading, it's a lot of shading. Yeah, so you see it's not what I'm doing. Let's go back to the shading. So yeah, maybe this is better. Let's get here I won't be able to compare. Yeah, we need to compare here. So this is the slot 1. Let's remake for this one. So this is slot 2. So you see there's no difference right now, but so the idea of getting the color, this probably we would like to do something with color here, which the only thing that I would like to do is before this is an older setup. I was just trying to get better reinforce the color through the shader editor, the image texture, yeah, the color map, because I wasn't using the composite with workbench. So this is why I was doing this, but it is useless because, well, there is some value perhaps, but I already have the color, the composite stuff to work on. So let's see what we can get from here. Alright, so I get this. Maybe I'm wrong, but I think this is this shader to RGB now. So you see the diffuse is a bit more interesting here, remembering that, yeah, this is definitely really more interesting. Then we have the Yeah, so you see I'm not at... Why this is happening is looks like I have some... I'm missing something. Alright, I don't know what I'm missing there in the... Maybe it's one of those clicked things. Maybe it relates to this thing now. Well, let's try again. Then okay, let's go to the compositor. Okay, see, this is working now. It was just probably I clicked in some text, so it's very beautiful. And we have all these variations, so then I can go back to the shading, and now let's try. So yeah, I'm gonna... This AO ambient occlusion was when I was trying to do the ambient occlusion through the shader system, right? So it would be something like that. I would add it like at the end stage, so it will be something like this. I would combine it with this, right? So the RGB combined with the ambient occlusion, so it would bring some effect. But I already have ambient occlusion from the slot 3. I already have ambient occlusion from here, right? With this pass here, which we get ambient occlusion on EV, the other render. So not here, but you know, the view layers just enable the ambient occlusion. It will appear here, but this on the other scene, right? Somewhere like here. Yeah, just this. So I don't know how to use this a lot, just know that the very basics, and that is sufficient to be dangerous. Very dangerous. So here we got this so all yes, I was looking online. There are many tutorials, some few tutorials that will address more interesting problems for this that I'm doing. So then, well, at least I yeah, so I'm not super savvy on compositing, nor on rendering or shading, but I'm getting to know the fundamentals, and this is game changer. Eventually we end up understanding. It's very important that we have research and trying to have a clear idea of what we really need artistically, because one thing is the technique, right? You might know what you need exactly, but you don't know how to achieve it. And so this is exactly what I was having the problem. But knowing what I needed helped me conceive solutions. So one way of doing that was to try to solve everything through the shader editor on EV or even cycles. But turns out that this was not so. Actually, so you see, this ambient occlusion didn't seem to be too much effective. Yeah, it's actually yeah, maybe it has some, but it's very smooth and might be useful, but we still can. Whereas here maybe we have a bit weak of a generic one, so there's some value to. This is why I didn't totally took off this one. Maybe it can be useful. And of course then this thing probably is better with shader. Maybe, yeah, because then we need to, this is an input, we would get it into what, into the color, mix color. I'm not exactly sure, or actually they use this as a, they use this as a also as a factor, as a mask. So anyways, then we gonna, yeah, we can have something funny here, some sort of translucent. This crashed, but I think my had some interesting effect with the hair. Let's try here. Let's see what happens. So it starts to get something crazy in the, this has to be on the skin, but it's affecting the hair for some reason. So yeah, some interaction, right? So I find this interesting, but it's dangerous. I need to learn more about how this can be used. And so here, let's go back to the shading. So hi, white script, welcome. Welcome. So we're making some rendering here. So I don't need this. I'm going to now try the, yeah, this will be the defaults that I'm using here. So let's just bring it to the, yeah, let's bring here because of the ambient occlusion. So let's test twice, right? The first is the slot 3, right? And I'm gonna test on the slot 2 now. And there we go. So here this has ambient occlusion from the shader. You see that there's some more shadow. The shadow gets another color, which is, I think this is from the compositor. And then we got here, well, here is also good, but yeah, this is much more shadowed. I think we can achieve this, try to achieve in some other way, but the basis of ambient occlusion is already there. So it's like, I think that will be for some more dramatic effect, right? Not very easy to, oh no, I'm not using it. Let's try here. And oh yeah, there's a problem, it lags a lot more, right? So 2 ambient occlusion, that will probably, I don't, yeah, maybe I should give up on this because of the, it takes too much. I want something that is also simpler to use. There is also an interesting proposition with cycles. If I ever tried to bring the second one here, what happened here to the character? Is this the effect of the alpha over? Anyways, we can get some cycles here, right? And the noise, no, not the noise. So let's just try this. Gonna go back here now, and there is, because there is this toon BSDF shader, and we can also try to composite with, and yeah, it gives some very different effect. Let's go in the in here and make some mix. So here is full cycles, but of course with all this stuff. So let's change the, this is the ambient occlusion, right? This holds some potential, maybe. Let's see. Yeah, so without the denoiser, of course, I get this grainy, too grainy effect. So, but yeah, so it also works instead of EV. It also works with the cycles, but I don't really see the much advantage. We need to create a special, the toon shader. Yeah, it gets this grain. Let's go back and try this. Let's try here the noise. Yes, yeah, okay, let's use this. And alright, so here we got yeah, slightly different. These are before, so the others were EV. So you get the noise, it didn't change too much. So we have, indeed, didn't change too much. So basically the I need a lot more samples in exchange of much more time. So this is the basic color from Workbench. Then this is the full cycle. So if I get something more intermediate, I have probably to create an entire, this is the CGA thing. We would need to, we can create some sort of the posterize here. This crude node works in an interesting way because there's too much things going on, right? So, but what I want to do perhaps is to, let's try this one instead. So I'm gonna duplicate all this. I'm gonna bring this down. No, not that one, just this. So I'm gonna duplicate all this. So this will be for cycles, and I will get another switch here. Okay, switching. So here I'm ready to make some radical changes here, but instead of using this posterize, it's not ready. Hold on, we need to bring this one, the EV, which actually currently is cycle. So I'm gonna Control X, dissolve that. We're gonna bring this old posterize shader. Maybe I find some use for it at this point. It's a group. Found this in the YouTube some time ago. It's a more dedicated posterize with some more controls. We can sort of use this to emulate some cell shading without the nodes in, but it's tricky. The results on EV are not super nice on my experience, but they can satisfy certain. So here I'm just decide to use here to see if there's any interesting effect that could developed out of it, but apparently not. It's always the same. So here we can. Yeah, so cycles here with the toon shader, I really don't know. I have to make deep. I have to make more tests in order to see if that is worth. So I for me it's just to play with. Maybe there's something good, a good outcome in combination of workbench. I think when you want something grainier, but it just take too much time, right? So for me, EV combines much better, and I still don't know why this is. Is this the alpha over? Why is this happening here? Very strange. So I don't know why this is, why it is showing like that on EV. It's like, oh yes, I have no compositing here. Compositor. That's, oh yeah, that's why I've deleted the compositor nodes from the EV. So this is why there is nothing to, in this one there's nothing to look at. Which is bad, right? Because if I want to look at some render results, interaction with lights, right, I just have, talking about the lights, let's get it. There's a light object here which need to get out of the camera. Well, it's not working. It's like I can't access it. Seems broken, but I can select it, but what's happening to this light object? Oh, it's a linked, okay, of course. The scene linked, I cannot, no, it's something about, oh, I know, it is, of course, I've made this like that. Of course, I knew that would cause me trouble. Let's go back to EV and let's make, okay, so let's bring this light here so we can, okay, I just don't, I just can't get the, no, that's interesting. So what's happening here is that because there is no compositor, there is just the lights of the So the compositor here is, oh, I see, it is still there. This is an old compositor. Yeah, so this is what is confused. This compositor of the second scene, but it only works if I render from it. But if I render from the first scene, this is the compositor that I was working on before. There's the main compositor system here, and this is like a secondary compositor that I think won't take place. This is confusing. Yeah, it will depend which render I will be using, right? Because see, the scene ends like this, so it's like pre-composite. Alright, anyway, so here there is, so that's why I shouldn't be using this. I'm tempted to just delete that, the compositor in the linked scene, to avoid any confusion. And yeah, I want the ambient occlusion, I want these ones. So this is just for play with DV, if we want to, if I want to, just in case I want to see how the and of course I'm lacking some. Yeah, and this is like garbage, so I think I'll just gonna take this off. We don't need this. Gonna delete this. I just need these ones. So you see, this is the ambient occlusion pass, multiplying the mixing, right, multiplying the ambient occlusion into our stuff, and there we go. So this, so let's go back to the EV thing, right? So here we can test the EV shading and see if there's anything interesting we can achieve. So you see, this is the things that words highlighted. We are little complicated subject, but we can do it. So folks, check this. So I have here these light objects, right, that which affect, of course, the character, because this is light object. It's EV, or could be cycles, but in this case this is EV render engine. However, this is just a linked scene. I have another scene with workbench rendering. So I have this and not this. These are different. So I use this one, and can use flat, or we can even create new here, more stuff, flat or matte cap. But I'm still diving on this more. But I've created these two here just for some, trying to mimic the flat approximation. So here we need this one, right, to see how it will look on the compositor actually, but couldn't be previous. So you see that the light doesn't do nothing. Not only the light, also certain elements. For example, you see the eyes there, shading. if I look for the object of the eyes and their material, yes, actually, if I look at, yeah, I have some combination of colors, you see, that none of this will work on Workbench, not even color map, node mixing, stuff like that. So, and this is extremely limiting, besides the fact that not having the light objects for ambience is also very, very bad, right, for certain scenes. So here you'll see that on the EV scene I've got something on her eyes that is not only do the colors mixing work, like this black white dot, they are just image texture color mix there, so it's nothing, it's not a real right, it's a texture, color texture. Then the, however, we have some reflection, roughness, right, on the, only for the iris and pupil, not for the sclera. They have different roughness map, and this is also something we can't achieve on Workbench. So then how to, so one idea that is very popular apparently, because it provides some interesting possibilities, so is that we transform every shading results, including rough, into color, and then we can play more with color. But I found out that in Blender the shader system, it's really against texture map. The color map, yeah, color maps are the color map, the texture paint, manually artistic painting, all this good image texture for old school, they really get sacrificed by the shading system in Blender, by both EV or cycles. It's very, very hard to get this stuff work. Then the lots of solution involving some degree of cell shading tries different ways to get a good let's say interpolation of cell shading between the tones or between the shadings, and it's just too hard, because what I'm telling here, what I'm saying, what I'm telling you is that the on my experience, and I've sort of noobish, so forgive me, but essentially shaders will destroy, in current EV and cycles, they will destroy texture. So this is the basis, and texture is the organic part, right? The procedural part is nice, is great, but it doesn't do what we want artistically many times for more stylized 2D artwork looking. And so, however, the Workbench is another story, because it super values the image texture. Maybe not exactly what I have here, but we can have some interesting in sacrifice of lighting, right? We can have very good stuff with this. However, we can, since it's very hard to reproduce what Workbench does naturally on EV and cycles, I have been trying, I wasn't successful, then the solution for certain artistic works, instead of trying to reproduce all these, which is granted by fantastic Workbench to those you know, the cavity, yeah, so I have these cavities here, all these settings here, we can play with that, and we can even play more, as I've shown in the beginning, right? But anyway, so we get these cavities and all that, and we can then have, finally I'm gonna explain, so we can composite a workbench render engine to super value the image textures, artistic ones, organic ones, and and then to compensate for the lack of support in fantastic workbench for what concerns artwork, 2D artwork, in my opinion, right? We get the compositor of maybe render layers for the EV render engine or cycles just for the lights objects and for some shading effects like roughness map, this kind of stuff, reflections, you name it, right? I'm not gonna describe everything. So, and even color combining that the workbench won't do. So in the end we can have an alpha blend that we can something where this happens. So let's just re-render here something quick. So I'm gonna go back to my first scene. Let's get here on the layout and let's get some thing here, and could be this, and here we can, why not, let's this thing. Also I have some line art with grease pencil on some collection. So anyway, so here we're gonna render this. You see, this is the render, but actually I want to show there is a light that I've put there just to show the effect, right? Hope it will be visible. Need to turn this. Where is the light? Here. Yeah, so you see this light is sort of blowing up the face. Maybe here we could see something of interest. I don't know. It's not super interesting here. Why it would be in the workbench? So anyways, I'm gonna test something here. Then I'm not gonna render from here because I want to use the compositor, the original one, the main one, which is from here. And so here I'm going to re-render this. Yeah, we barely see, but there's some reflection, blue reflection there, right? So here it's not looking very nice because actually there is VVV here. Let's hold Alt and move this here, and this hold Shift, move here. You see I'm all to EV here on the alpha over. Now this is all the workbench, so somewhere in between we'll start to have a nice blending of them too. So usually for me, because I will try, anything will be nice, right, mostly, but I would prefer something around here, more text. And then of course this is just switches for different possibilities, so this can take a while to figure out if we want to explore a lot of stuff. So basically, and these are the ambient occlusion also done in compositor. I found a tutorial that explains right that, so you don't need to make for every material composite ambient occlusion for the maybe this is a little less accurate or powerful, but it still does. This is only for the pass, you know, render layers for the EV render engine scene, so that we'll have the ambient occlusion generalized, which is kind of okay. It's a generalization, but it will simplify all the materials, and also it gets an interesting work. And then this Kuahari just to blend some stuff, and then finally, yeah, so this is a way to mix, to get the best of each render engine, the best of, in my opinion, right, very good feature of, instead of workbench, for organic, more to not let the textures be destroyed or be consumed by the shading system, by the shaders. right, of EV and cycles. So for now, I think this, I don't know any other way now to achieve this kind of, uh, and I think this is very, very cool. So the possibilities are, it really looks like some illustrative artwork to some extent, like, and the texture map that color maps that I have, texture for the skin especially, is very, very crude, right? Imagine if it was done more carefully, more artistically, more profound, and I will do eventually for some features, but that's it. So folks, that's it for the highlight. Hope, sorry too long, but hope that was very valuable topic for us artists trying to mimic 2D or get inspiration from 2D, and or even doing 2D in 3D, right? Alright folks, it's kind of late here, and there is this sharing of stuff that I was able to cover to some extent, and took me a while to figure, yeah, basically 3 years to figure that this was even possible. Or of course I knew about the possibility of compositing multiple render engines. It just took me a long while to figure out that, oh, that is the way to go, right? The fixed mindset, you're over how to say, we're sometimes caring about other narratives, other approach to the thing, and we forgot maybe something that we already know, but it's just, it's left like, oh, this is not gonna work, this will be, so it's, but that was the solution then. Okay, so we got here, let's here reset some stuff. I was doing a lot of this how do you say, the I was doing a lot of these widgets lately, because today actually, because there was a lot of things to be fixed. For example, here there's still, I'm using the wiggle, no, it's not wiggle add-on, it's the widget, bone widget add-on, but it's causing me some trouble, so I've decided to, I think, I hope there's an update soon. So for some bones I'm using it, and for others I'm not, so I'm still investigating this. It's confusing. The one little problem of it is that it seems to want to create a new object for every single widget. For example, if I use it for the fingers widget add-on, it will it'll create one mesh object for each finger, each phalanx, so each bone there. So this is not very good. It will really, so I've accepted this for certain bones, but I tried to not all of them, right? So okay, so here I need to fix some stuff about the rig I was saying, and I've just found out that we have some thing here that is inaccurate. So this is just a symmetrize issue, right? And now I need to, there's another bone here that we will just, let's see, I think I can edit it. This case I don't remember if no, I think it is not a, it's not vanilla. This is this is bone widget. So gun pose mode, this is free, by the way, so edit this, ignore it, will, it is the bone that is selected. It did. Oh, it. I know why this is like that. It's because I need to. I don't have the object here. The object is not. Yeah, I accidentally deleted, so I cannot find it. So I'll have to. Yeah, so this is sort of annoying. So I'm gonna try to add then a hand left. Okay, so gonna pick the bone here again. Actually, the master I key they shouldn't be stacking like that, so gonna create here. There's a super small bone there. Apparently it doesn't seem to have worked. Oh, it is worked. This is the control I key. So alright, the bone is not helping. Let's simplify these layers here. I am on pose mode. I need to be looking at the widgets. Alright, so there it is. Is that this bone moves together. So the widget is there. So gonna recreate. Yeah. So delete. Create. Okay. Gonna rotate here. Maybe it's the z-axis 90. No, negative 90. And here gonna augment the global size. The widget is tilted there, but that's fine because we're just going to match bone to transforms. Now the bone is exactly matching the hand, and I'm going to also advanced options, slide on the z-axis. It could go here, yes, why not? And for the top view we can also, yeah, I think this for shouldn't. Okay, but now then I lose the panel. Okay, that's fine. We can go on pose mode, select the bone and edit and match. Okay, first match, then let's try to now I'm just gonna change these ones from the top view. From the active SY0, no, okay, I don't really know which is the center now, but I need to map. Yeah, the 3D cursor is there, so this is where I want the widget. So here edit, then here we're gonna just snap this to the there, gonna use this SY0, there we go. So this will be snapping to the active element on the along the, well, this doesn't seem to work. Alright, so never mind. So use the cursor, now yes. Then for the other elements here, I think that's fine, nothing else. So now I'm gonna save here. I'm going to match bone transforms. Let's symmetrize shape, and that doesn't work very well for some multiple reasons, but we can try to. So select this, shift alt X. Oh yeah, the bone is here. I wasn't seeing it. So I need to have a complete inversion of it, right? So because yeah, so this is one case that bone widget might be not the good one to it, yeah, this is a custom one, so maybe it would be better if I alright, so here yeah, this one, so I'm gonna delete this one. I still have got the other. So where's the hand? Should be no, edit. Okay, it is there, and so I'm gonna pick this one and this object, and I'm gonna yeah, I hope when I clear I key hand left. Yeah, so let's copy this just in case. So I'm gonna clear bone widget from this bone. It is still here as a backup, so it doesn't remaining, right? It doesn't delete the object, so this is a good thing probably. So I'm going to now reapply this bone widget, but through vanilla. So this is like here. You see everything there is, yeah, I'll have to maintain this at least. And then we actually, let me check something. Apply rotation, apply scale. How apply scale? Apply, there's no shortcut. Control A, scale. I think that was the scale problem. So now we got here, this is very specific and annoying, so copy here. Now I don't need this. Yes, so that's nice. I'll leave this wireframe, and now I hope if I go on edit mode, symmetrize, we got this, but this was automated, and for some reason I'll have to for some strange reason for the other one I have to do that. Okay, so this is awkward, but it gets the job done at least. So now there is still the other ones, right? So I'm gonna just get this, and here we're gonna copy to selected. The problem is that I don't see the bone, so I'm gonna edit mode, check here, and oh, it is in the same spot. Alright, so here we're gonna just change here and hold shift. I'm gonna reduce here, and maybe this one I'll just leave it, move it up. There's some mistake in the mesh, right? Nothing critical. This will fix for all of them. So this is one advantage, to have one single object for all of them. And so here we got to symmetrize this one too. I already know it will have some issue there regarding this scale to bone length. Okay, no, it's strangely didn't fix. It looks like I have a bone right hand right, but no, if it had, hold on, there are some names here. What are these? No, this is aim. There's nothing to do with that. So how is it possible that they didn't? This is some, yeah, unused data. Probably this have to purge some 3 data block deleted. No, so I have no idea what is this. Maybe try hand on the widgets. No, there's nothing, so doesn't seem to. It's very maybe they're super weird here. I can't know how is this possible. You see, the object is here, so why didn't it? And so this is one kind of asymmetric widget, right? So maybe I should just shift. Yeah, let's do the. Alright then, so let's change this to R. Then we're gonna, oh, there exists one somewhere. But it doesn't tell. So it looks like something that doesn't want to. I think this relates to the, yeah, to the widget add-on, the error that happened, right? So okay, that's not the end of the world. Gonna go to the center, then I'm going to symmetrize mirror on the global X. I'm gonna apply scale, apply rotation, the location we don't want. We want to, for widgets we usually want the origin to be on the position of the bone, right? So this is a different thing, so you don't apply the locations for them. So this now will be the widget, even though the name I cannot fix it. Oh, now I can. Alright, so we're going to go back to the armature. We're going to use here R. Gonna reset this. Now this doesn't work anymore. They don't need. Alright, we don't need this anymore. And so here we can, for these 2 bones, maybe 1.5, hold Alt, there we go. Good, so another widget that maybe here, so we want, this is the master torso, this is something to move. So which widget for this one? We're gonna check. Maybe this, yeah, this one seems nice. Great. And reduce here, so something like, well, I'm gonna do manually 2. Maybe a little more, 3. 2.5. We can then adjust manually, then move this. Yeah. Alright, that can work. Then we go back on here, tab to the bone widget, then edit, match to bone transfer. Okay, edit, and just move up. Scale towards the 3D cursor. So at any time I can check the bone is here, right? So for specifics of this rig, so gonna get here, gonna edit to bone. No, it was already on edit, so gonna SZ0. Okay, then we gonna do expand a little, and that is nice. Yes, so match to bone, there we go. So this is like, maybe it's not super. Okay, there it is. It's a bit awkward. Oh, actually this is working like the, no, this is object mode, what I'm doing. Okay, no, this is not super awkward. It's like from the hips it moves all the rest on yeah, so on F key, right? Well, also on this one is different though. So this is for Auto I key. It can do way more. So this is connected chain, so we're gonna have here the, okay, let's just, now that I've created this one, not collection, view layers, gonna get here into the waist. No, it is the torso. Okay, this is done. I have a pattern here for the ones which have already been fixed, although the patterns is sometimes not helping. Yeah, so alright, so also this one I want an arrow, but the arrow needs to be inverted, so I don't have the single arrow, which is nice. There's just a little problem with empty objects in the new update that we can have wire width property, is that the empty objects, they don't get the, that doesn't work to them. I think it's a glitch. They would need to be converted to mesh objects, but I think that doesn't work out either, so we'll have to get one arrow from here, but then there's no good arrows here. So it's all, I don't want to draw a new arrow, so just for that. So I had done that, but I don't have anymore, so let's try to find something. Bone widget, Yeah, there's this arrow, right? But I'm using this for the aim feature. This doesn't look good here, and this could be nice, but saddle. I'm not sure this. Well, we could try. The other proposition will be just the dorsal triangle. No, so essentially, yes, there was the, I was mentioning, there was the, okay, let's try this one, then we'll realize what to do here. So here we want to do some sort of, I think it's y-axis. No, no, this is slide, wrong. One 180. Yeah, so this is my idea here. Let's see. All right, so yeah, so this is why I've done this. So let's edit here, and where origin, let's no, this needs to be, maybe it's some proportional editing. We can do something else. Now without mirror modifier there's little to do here, so maybe we're just gonna edit it. Clipping, right? So then we got can probably dissolve some mesh here. This doesn't need to be symmetrical in this. In every aspect. Okay, then we match. Okay, it doesn't work, so alright, so this has this purpose. Alright, so this is a So instead of an arrow we got this thing, which is also works nicely, and this is the regular thing for the legs and hips interaction of the I key bone constraint, and this is for the puppeteering ability with auto I key option that has control I key skeleton, not here, on all the body. So it's all parented connected chain. Not exactly a master chain, but it mostly, yeah, it is the master chain, but I'm calling it an I key control chain. And because of auto I key we can either this bone will connect the spine with the hip down, so you can have F key I key everywhere, or not everywhere, but there is some issues involved into this madness. So here let's go to the, I have one field dependency cycle. They're not critical, it's just something about the driver. So let's see here if I'd like to fix this. I didn't have it before. Master switch head via target driver. Head bone pose bar via then we have more. This one is depends on master I key local constraint stack driver master constraint transform I key influence via. Okay, it's something about their. Oh, I see. Okay, maybe it's just some stupid something about the location. Oh yeah, it is crashing, right? Yeah, it will crash. So sorry folks, we're gonna, I think I know what's happening. The driver, the driver bone has got a it is parented to the master I key head. It is the red one there, and then it is moving with it, but then the driver, it's about location. So this is this is why it is just about these two bones and nothing else. Is just a stupid mistake. That it wouldn't be a problem if it were something about like rotation or scale in principle, I think, but it is a problem because it is about a location, and I suppose it is that because I haven't found. So we're gonna just find that other bone here and gonna unparent it, or change the parent maybe instead to this mechanism I key head, yes, which is okay. I think that can what is happening here? We got some. Okay, maybe I should unparent this bone completely. Yes, so this bone was the culprit, so I cannot have it parent here. So now I guess this will solve the So this is what was probably crashing my rig, my file. Oh yeah, it's clean. There we go. The setup that I have here is sort of crazy because I have these I have a head pin system. Okay, why I'm not being able now to pose? It's always complicated, this I keyboard constraint. It doesn't want to go in the other direction. There's something I need to fix on the head, so I'll try that. So let's do this for the spine, and this I need to still find better way to get this interaction. So this tweak, I have some tweaker for the spine, but it will be, I think they can help indeed. So first we need to stretch. It's very, if you look at them, even if they now it is working, right? So it's just now it is working more or less correctly. So if we can't make it work correct, then if we tweak here, I think this can, no, this doesn't collaborate. So it's a strange interaction of the maybe it's a bug, or but the fact is that we can still get the, yeah. So I did all that so that now I can, through this I keyboard constraint, I have a pin head. I can pin the head, and this is offsetting, of course, but you see the head is pinned, and so that means that I can, it's not perfect, there are some drawbacks, but I was able to do that before. But now the cool thing is that if I pose the head bone, the I key, it still has the spine with it, so it's truly I key. But here is I keyboard constraint, and here is auto I key. And what's happening there? Okay, so we have some, of course I need to by resetting the head is just go back like a nearly like a snapping. The one problem though is that I wasn't able to make this system to adapt to the whole arm, so this goes just until the shoulder, so it doesn't affect the rest. So for that we'll have to make probably some multi selection, which can sometimes go bad, right? So I have to investigate more because I've just done this one. So essentially, if we pick this though, we can pull the hand eventually, but this is just the head pinning is just a very specific feature. so that we can do stuff like that. And so these bones are not supposed to be displaced like that, but we can tweak the spine to... No, not the blue ones. The blue ones are the real tweakers, but these ones are messy. But we can achieve the certain pose if we want. So here, let's I have still to see how all that works in 3D animation, but as I've been posing, it seems to be working fine. This is the maximum I was able to do with the current state of the rig. So what I would like to do is the aim system. I think I've wrongly deleted for the head, because the dependency cycles were from the another problem, right? So let's check here. Yeah, maybe I should parent it to... Let's try the mechanism. That seems to not cause any problem, so we can just... No, it does cause trouble. Yes, just had to... Okay, so we're just going to parent this then to what? To... Yeah, let's parent it here, and that will be it. Yeah, so the next step for rigging would be this aim for the head, which I need to recover. It is on demand, so I need to drive it probably, right? Dump a track. And this can also interact with the oh, there's this problem with some bone there is wrongly parented, so it can also interact with the head pinning. Right, so very straightforward, right? The problem is that sometimes we really want to have control on the head, on the rotation, because it would be more appealing, right? And so this is why this is annoying. There might be other way to do it. The other thing is that this is not recommended, can cause some problem, but for a lot of cases it just works okay. So it will be like a copy rotation, like add local space with just the Y, I think. No, it's not the Y, it's the Z then. Yeah, it's this one, and sometimes it doesn't. Maybe it's the add mix. could go replace, but it's not clear that will do. It's behaving very strange because it is stacking with the copy transforms of the key. Yeah, so replace before original. Let's try this. Yeah, this is not behaving well, so there's getting some crazy rotations. Okay, all my stuff are quaternions, so why this is the case? So this got a dumped track, maybe. Oh yes, there's some bad interaction here, so maybe that was the culprit. So okay, I wanted the widget to adapt. So but you see, by when it rotates it also affects the head, so instead I need some a trick here, like a buffer bound here for this feature. So essentially this will be parented here, keep offset, then we're gonna transfer, so Shift Alt C that, whichever it is, so I don't need that, and this could probably be parented to the root instead. It's a name bound, so it's so now I cannot pause this, or actually I can. This can be there. Okay, actually I need to, what I need to do, okay, this one is bound constraint. Let's try the override technique, override transform. Okay, actually I'm doing something incorrect here. Sorry folks, so already tired. Yeah, probably time to go soon. So here what I need is the head bone has dumped track to the aim, right? I should be moving this one, which has the dumped track, and this one is following, right? So Maybe it's the opposite, right? Doesn't seem to add anything. Okay, so I have to find out solution. I have a system like that here, but this one is already functioning. There's just one little problem is that it will be, yeah, so I have this, yeah, there's some, so you see the hand is rotated. Of course we don't want this all the time, and there is one problem when we have this on and some parts of the body move, then we have the hand moving there, so this is annoying. This happening because the aim here is inside the body. It was another attempt way of doing this, but it's not necessary. It can be, yeah, no, this is because of this automation that I wanted. Yes, so which is kind of cool, but then there is a problem by doing this in the center. If you have the because the center is moving. But I've just got an idea here. If I use something like the root bone and I add here some sort of a mapper bone for this gonna name it, we're gonna position it exactly there in the center. Well, no, here. Gonna name it map aim hands. Gonna parent it to the here so it doesn't move. We're gonna give it a special, yeah, first color here. Yeah, something like that. Maybe we're gonna check. Yeah, this is only the aim thing, but this can be confusing. So instead I'm gonna make it just a cube. Yeah, okay, just a cube and a pretty small cube and match. Well, it's not working. Probably no, I paused the character, of course. There we go. So now the hands, okay, the targets are still there, so we're gonna just change these bone constraints to dump a track, but change here map aim hands, hold alt, and there we go. Now the hands are, they'll only move though I can reposition. Alright, so I have to change here this bone. I could use the override on another positioning, which is annoying, so just gonna scale this up, whatever, so we can access it here. That, let's see, where is that? So basically this camera, okay, I shouldn't be moving these bones, they are for something, they are more like aim mechanism. Do I have other mechanisms here? No, it is just, yeah, this is the, it's parent to the master I key, and this control is, no, this one is different. Okay, this one is parent to the aim hand, so this is just a, is not supposed to be moved, right? It's just a reference. So the reason I have these two bones here is because, well, this can have this effect, this won't, so the hand is in place. Alright folks, so here we concluded today's activities. I'm just gonna try to finish with render in some Shift X. Yeah, so probably should get used to, I should try to get used to these features, right? And because of this system, the hand is still, although it is aiming, there's some crazy rotation, the wrist here I need to investigate. I've already noted, I think it's some, might be a bendy bone, but if not, that will be more tragical. I need to find the culprit. Sometimes it glitches out. Rotations in Blender, right folks? That's, so here some, there's a bug with auto I key sometimes that doesn't want to work, so it's, I know now, it relates to the mirror thing. Pose options, I think it's a glitch, it's not about a bug, shows like a magician, right? What happened to her fingers here? Yeah, I moved both sides, right? So in a awkward way. I have a shifty fingertips. No, turn off the mirror. That what I used was feature sets, so you can then access them through here, which there's a shortcut shifty. So the feature sets, it's a add-on extension, right? Free inbuilt, and it can good for rigging. Sometimes you want to isolate some bones despite of bone collections, or and you can also use for rigging, and but its ultimate use is of course for animation, so you can have any selection of bones, and in this case it's pretty simple because I have the just for the left fingers, but then I use a combo, right? Shift T and Alt Shift Alt X, which is the select mirror. I don't know if it's the default shortcut, but for me this is that one. And so here, yeah, with all this I key thing, we can do probably I need some. No, the head is not spinned right now. No? Ah, it is the aim, of course. So you can there's some bad thing in the arm here. Yeah, I can have some facial expression too, but that's too much for now. Let's just try to get this to be rendered. We have the possibility of it's too late because I've enabled simplify on all that stuff. So yeah, there's the possibility of checking here this instead. I don't know. So crashed. Okay, so maybe I was doing this for too long. So let's, if it's crash again, then it's over, folks. So for today, but I just think I can end up Alright, this is pretty nice, isn't it? So it was just Blender was just tired. You see, there's no dependency cycles. It's super clean, and despite all the madness that is going on here. And so let's bring this and Alt V will do zoom in the compositor, and hold Alt to move. Then we're gonna composite what we can composite. Let's try this first. Okay, this is more colorful. Yeah, maybe. Then here we radicalize here, not good. The CGA is just too useless right now. I don't know, it was better before, it was more radical. Now it's not doing anything. So we need to just use this first one, EV, and oh, of course it's not doing nothing. We needed more of this. I can, of course, I don't know, we can do a lot of things here for this more stylized looks, right? So, but here's not the point. I'm just gonna return to the regular EV. Let's see. So full EV and the wait, what is going on? Looks like I've lost some. No, I was just having the wrong perception of the image is a bit pixelated in some bad way. So okay, so this is full EV and this is full workbench. So I want something like where just we start to get some good interaction. So there's many. This is more like oil painting like, and this is more like watercolor. So there's like somewhere closer to watercolor, or to, yeah, I prefer more closer to watercolor. So somewhere like here. So I'm gonna render here, and that is my the foot. Unfortunately I was left terribly. Let's just fix this one. And then the data are set as it is. So gonna save this, and we got another for our collection. So I'm doing a collection of them to have enough evidence of how good this thing is. So that's it, folks. Hope you enjoyed. Thanks for watching. Every day weekday we do the streaming about this time, and usually it's rigging, character making, but I need to make a diversification now at this point. I've been rigging her, Aisha, original character, for too long, so I will continue rigging other characters, but she's almost finished. I need to address other features. So take care, folks. Happy blending, and have a nice week. See you soon or anytime. See you.